Welcome to the Bear Pit Pod. We're back, episode 13. 13, unlucky for some.
Unlucky for Stoke.
Unlucky for Stoke. What isn't? You've been leaving your reviews again. You've been smashing these reviews, so please do leave us more. All 5-star. And we do promise to also read through them, and you can win a shirt at the end of the season.
That's the biggest betting
signed
bargain
by
you can get.
Delap and Berahino.
Yeah.
Maybe more. More to come. But let's smash them out. So the real FBW says, always telling it as it is, go on Stoke. Lewis Loveridge says, Stoke City fan from Bristol, managed to travel to 10 games this season, and I have tickets for the remaining. But for the games, I can't brave the 120 odd mile travel. This is my favourite podcast to keep me up to date. Keep up the good work. Ramadan says, great to see some Stoke fans talk sense. Listen to every single one so far.
Which one? Me or
Doesn't say who. This pod is great. I feel that all Stoke fans should listen or watch. The hosts are honest and give great views about matches and play performances. Even if you're not a Stoke fan, this pod is still brilliant. Keep it going. I need a burp from the
Very flattering, aren't they, these?
They are. Cal says, great listen, concise and relevant to all the SCFC news. Quick question. Bangura to attend your wedding or Glenn Whelan on your stag do or night out?
Oh, Glenn Whelan.
Yeah.
The choice is a Stoke City deserter or a Stoke City legend.
No one will be able to find Sammy to
exactly.
go anyway.
Well, wait a minute.
James says, loving the pod, lads, and after listening to the epic argument with that twat snobby savage, I felt like the least I could do is leave a 5-star review. Cheers for that, James. Liam says, great podcast, it engages well the fans. If you're a Stoke, you couldn't recommend it more. Gosh says, meat pie, sausage roll, come on Stoke gives a goal. Old Speckled Ben says, really great listen. Shame about the season, but your opinions are always balanced. Optimistic at times, not sure how. Congrats on the sponsorship, keep up the good work. There's some more to get through. Tom Stevens, really enjoy listening to this every week. Keep up the good work. Looking forward to the many great podcasts in the future. Come on, you Potters. Karen Amersham says, thank you for the podcast. Listening to it means I can understand what my 11-year-old son is talking about without hearing a load of bullshit. Greg Woolridge says, I listen to the Bear Pit podcast every week, as well as following the Bear Pit on YouTube and Facebook. Fantastic fan channel that gets 5 stars from G. Stoke City 10 just puts red and white emojis. And the Bear Pit Lover says, really good podcast. Keep up the good work. What's your take on the board apparently back in Sparky? We will get onto that. That is all part of the show. Go and leave us a 5-star review if you haven't already.
Well read out as well. You smashed through the 13 additional reviews.
I'm sweating.
I bet you on. Have a little sip of your cider.
Yeah, I need a drink.
Yeah.
First up, Arsenal.
Yeah.
That was fun.
Good day out for all, wasn't it? I mean, if you wanted a game to kind of sum up the season towards the tail end, to leave that sort of lasting memory for the summer, Arsenal at home 4-1. There we go.
It just wasn't your typical Stoke Arsenal game.
Flat as a pancake.
It was. The ground. I don't know what was wrong with the ground. Usually it's feisty as anything for one of those fixtures.
Yeah,
it just wasn't there.
It's a shame because
there was some, like we do the boo whenever they're on the ball. Yeah. That lasted for a little bit and then it just petered out.
So whose fault's that? Because let's face it, the fans didn't get G'd up for it prior to them taking the piss a bit at the end. Do you know what I mean? At 0-0, 1-0, even 2-0, it was quiet and nothing was going on. So I mean, can we blame Hughes and the season for that, or is that the fans?
I think it might be just the general feeling around the club at the minute.
Just the general atmosphere coming through.
This season as a whole, reflected by the fans, maybe. I don't know. I don't think it's something you can pin on the fans because we're the ones who've been subjected to the football for the whole season, and you sort of. So we were pushing for something that game meant something. Maybe it would have been a different atmosphere.
But it does mean something. I mean, we could have. I don't know what's the best we can finish now, but we could have finished top 10 still comfortably before the Arsenal game, and it should have meant something. It should have meant a lot. Arsenal Stoke, for my money, has always meant a lot, and it was just.
I was on Arsenal Fan TV afterwards with Robbie,
I saw
and
that,
I said that's the easiest we've ever made it for them.
Then he said the team, and then you said no, the fans.
Atmosphere,
yeah.
We did.
It's such a shame. It's such a shame.
Those poncy Arsenal players usually scared of that fixture, usually shit themselves, and they walk in the park.
But you said it last podcast, didn't you? You wanted the old guard in there.
I said Crouch.
Justifiably as well. Yeah, you did.
And in our predicted 11.
Yeah. I think you have Walters in there as well, or at least to come on early.
Well. And Crouch proved to be sort of saving grace.
Hand of God.
So to say, yeah. What an handball that was.
It was good, wasn't it? I've had to watch like 1,000 replays. I'm still not sure.
I'm
sure it was a handball.
That's against us. I'm screaming for the FA's head right now. But I'll take that.
But also, I mean, I don't know if I'm being a tad harsh here, but worryingly, that makes him our top scorer. And that's not,
Six
I believe, and
six.
that is not to knock Crouch at all, because he's a legend. I think he should start more. But with the money we've invested in strikers over the past 4 seasons, it's 30. What is he? 36-year-old Peter Crouch, 35-year-old Peter Crouch.
He's old.
He's old enough for a football player. He's our top scorer, and I don't know. It just sums up the season really, kind of dragging out the old guard to dig us out of the. Let's have it right. Actually, be it huge drop in the Flair players or not. But I think if you remove some of the old guard, we would have been in a massive relegation battle. If you look at some of our wins,
some of the wins.
Yeah, if you look at some of our wins, at Watford away, Charlie Adams scored. I remember at home versus Watford, I believe Crouch and Walter scored. I might be wrong. Walter scored at home to Burnley. Joe Allen, he's kind of dug in a few goals, but I don't know. I don't know whether that's the fault of sticking with them or that they've saved our bacon a little bit, or a bit of both, if that makes sense.
Yeah, so you don't know whether we should be thankful for that, or it's just because they were the only option left because of
he uses poor decisions anyway. I'm not so sure.
I always like having a plan B, and I've always said people like Crouch. I'd like to when he signed his new deal, when he was desperate to hit the 100 club. I said, fair play. I'm completely fine with that as long as he's like our plan B, something that we need to go to.
Yeah.
I don't think he should be signing that as our first choice striker.
I don't think he should ever start in that 4-3-3 formation because he's too immobile. I'm more than happy for him to start up front with someone in a 4-4-2 or when you got 2 up front. But yeah, he's too immobile up front on his own. Plan B only, yeah.
Glenn Johnson had an absolute
How much
shocker.
space was there down that left flank for Arsenal?
Yeah.
Is it Monreal? Every single time that they lofted a ball there, he was just dizzy. He was confused. He was looking round, and Monreal was like slipping behind him. I don't know why or how.
I think we will come on to it because someone asked it, but I've said this before on here. I don't know how Bardsley has been let go and Glenn Johnson's got a new deal.
Well, what's the situation with Bardsley?
Bardsley's off. Well, the Telegraph report he's going to be looking for a club in the summer.
Yeah, I think that's complete. Bardsley,
which is a good sign because it means that surely we're going to sign a right back.
It's bittersweet, isn't it? Because I really get to the point now where I think out of the two, Bardsley is probably been the more consistent as a defender,
100%,
certainly.
100%.
And I think he's a bit underrated as going forward as well, Bardsley.
He scores some goals.
He gets a bit of a head rush every now and then,
Scored
doesn't
that
he?
Screamer.
Cheltenham, Stevenage. I keep forgetting who it was. One of them, League Cup. That seems like ages ago, that.
I know. And yeah, for me, I'm keeping Bardsley.
I probably agree.
I like that Glenn Johnson goes already seems
That's
to want away for a while.
Yeah, I mean that's not to say Johnson's shit. I mean he's had some great games going forwards, and he's a great threat going forward. But
he hasn't for a while.
Maybe not. But what he does give you going forward, he lacks at the back, and that's shown. Well, his positioning's just poor, isn't it?
Perfect
to be blunt.
Sort of replacement because obviously we've got to sign a right back if we're letting one of them go. For me,
yeah,
Sergi Palencia, this guy from Barcelona B captain, youth lad. He scored an absolute screamer at the weekend.
Fullbacks do not do that.
Yeah, took a touch.
Stoke fullbacks do not do that.
Bang,
yeah,
straight into the top bin off the post.
How much would he cost?
Well, he's got a release clause, €12 million, and we bid 5, and it wasn't accepted.
I don't know if I'm being a little bit snobby here, but have we got enough money to be spending 12 million on a fullback?
Euros? What's the exchange rate?
I don't know, 9 million.
In this day and age, yeah, for how young he is as well, you've got to think you've got him.
Maybe
you've got sell-on value.
Maybe I've been a bit cynical. I can't help but think there's other priorities in the team at the moment. It's just disjointed. But
he was included in the Barcelona Champions League squad and senior squad, but hasn't made an appearance, and that's why he's off. I think he's a bit fed up of waiting for a chance, which is a bit strange, really, considering the problems that Barcelona have had with wing backs this season. Yeah,
I agree. But nonetheless, he obviously wants to come to Stoke.
Well, we can hope.
Yeah,
we can hope. After the game as well, there was the lap of dishonour. Not lap of honour.
I feel bad for all involved there. I feel bad for the fans that stayed. I feel bad for players as much as they've not performed. I don't know.
I think it was Becca Ibbs on Twitter.
She did
called Becca Ibbs. She did an example of when there's Hossley, Bojan, Mooney, Jeff,
Peter out
Booven behind him,
and
then compare that to this season. There can't have been more than 1,000, 2,000 fans there.
I don't blame the fans, but at the same time, I don't know. It makes me sad. That does a little bit.
It is. It was sad to see. I recorded a video and put it on Twitter.
Saw it, yeah.
But I stood there and I gave it a good. Me and Jake we gave it a good 5 minutes or so. And I stood there going, "Do we actually want to stay for this?" And I looked at everyone who'd gone because I was ready to record it. I was going to live stream it
Yeah.
on the Bear Pit. I was thought, right, I'll live stream this. So I got my phone out and everything. I thought, do they deserve me to stay here and sort of clap them around the pitch this season? Because they've been awful.
Probably not.
Especially Mark Hughes.
Probably not. I don't know. I feel like the lap of honour is something that, barring an absolute catastrophe this season, I think fans should honour a little bit. I might get slated for that. I probably will get slated for that.
Could be a complete disaster season yet, Craig. Have the worst ever Premier League
Maybe.
finish.
I mean, we're not going to... It comes back to the same issue time and time and time again. I'm going to throw it out there again now.
Go on.
It's all about the context of what you want Stoke City to achieve, and the old cliche of where have we come from.
Yeah.
Is this really that bad in the context?
I don't
Because
like
you
this.
despise
I hate
that.
this
And it annoys me slightly, but at the same time, I do still remember the League One days, and people are going to be moaning and grumbling, sighing at me saying this, but I've had fucking much worse seasons at Stoke. And
People have.
in the
I've got
context
no doubt
of
in
Mark
that.
Hughes' 4 seasons, 3 ninth, and this has been a massive
This
blip.
has been his worst one.
I get that, that's fine. But it's not like we've struggled every year under Hughes. I'm more than willing to give him to start a new season.
But what if we lose to Southampton at the weekend and it is our worst finish after being 9 years in the Premier League? We finished 16th.
Yeah, don't get me wrong, shit season, bad season. We've had worse seasons in the top
After
flight.
4 years in the job,
Yeah,
you're not
yeah,
expecting
yeah.
some progression.
Yes
I
and
am.
no, but history's taught us time and time again that no team continues to progress forever.
No?
Not that I don't think Stoke have hit the ceiling. I think a ceiling is maybe 7th at the moment or a cup. But name me one team that's of Stoke's size that's continually developed and progressed and doesn't have occasionally slip seasons. It happens all the time. Look at some of the clubs that have gone down. Villa, Leeds, Newcastle, Sunderland. Massive, massive clubs. And again, I'm keen to stress, I'm not saying all's rosy and we should thank a lucky stars in the Premier and all this. It's been crap, I'm not denying that, but the Premiership isn't a simple formula of spend more money plus have more seasons in the Prem, thus equal success. It doesn't work like that. These things just happen sometimes. I think we need to, collect ourselves as a group, as a squad, as a club, and go again next season.
Okay.
I'm going to really judge Hughes come September, October next year.
Okay.
Then I might join the Hughes out if we have a bad start.
Who won't then?
Well, no, that's the
Everyone
lot.
will.
No, I completely hold my hands up. If we have a shocking start as we did this year,
If we have a
next
Mark
year,
Hughes start,
yeah,
he's gone.
Get me on that bandwagon.
Now, the reason I'm saying here a Mark Hughes start, this is how he starts a season. Mm-hmm. He doesn't start a season any other way. So is it not just better to get someone in now and let them have a full season preparing?
I appreciate
Or do you
that
give Mark Hughes the summer, buy some more signings, get rid of Mbula, and then we have a shocking start and sack him anyway?
I'm going to stick with. I completely get your sentiment. I really, really do. And if I'm wrong with that, it could be very, very costly. Luckily, I'm not making that choice. It doesn't matter. But I would stick with him. Yeah, I would take that risk.
And also, another point, sort of to throw out there, some of the managerial opportunities that are about now. So your Marco Silva's, who's free.
Because you say that he's contractually he can leave Hull now.
He can leave. Much bigger club's going to come in for him. I've got no doubt about that.
Yeah.
I've just got a lot of factors that are just making me think we should get him gone. Doesn't seem like it's going to be that because Mark Hughes, Luke's set to stay. John Percy, who is pretty much the gospel, and also the Sentinel, said that the board is sticking by Mark Hughes, but are well aware of the fans' discontent at the moment. Going on from that, I've got a little list for you because Martin Smith, who obviously head of the Oatcake, has done an article. We've got an Oatcake there.
Yeah.
Done an article today, his usual column, and I've watched his articles closely over the past couple of weeks or so.
They are good.
They're always a good
smudge.
read. But I've watched them closely because he's been teetering on the Hughes in, Hughes out, and I think in the last weeks he said I'm running out of ways to defend Mark Hughes.
Yeah.
And I still don't think he's quite Hughes out.
So is this Martin Smith's list you've got here?
Yeah, so he's put a fat list. He's put this isn't things I want to say against Mark Hughes. These are all just facts.
Okay.
This season we've not won a single game against any of the teams currently in the top 12 of the Premier League table. We have a record of 10 defeats and 13 draws. In anybody's book, that's not good enough. We have had no fewer than 7 defeats in which we've conceded 4 goals, and that's disturbing. Our leading league scorer has 6 goals. We were knocked out of both cup competitions in home games against teams who will face each other in the Championship next season. We have 12 wins from our last 49 league games. borderline relegation form. If we do anything other than win at Southampton on Sunday, then this will statistically be our worst season since we returned to the Premier League 9 seasons ago, and that is extremely worrying.
I mean, it's difficult to argue with them list of facts, and I
read that as a Benitez. This is a fact. This is a fact.
Lost in the league, that.
It did.
I mean,
a league lose.
Yeah, no. Well, yeah. I mean, you read that, and on the face of it, that screams out Hughes should go. And I'm just being a bit sentimental, and I think he's proved for me. He's had 4 seasons here. 3 have been good, 1's been poor, and I'm purely going off the fact that I think he deserves the start of one more. And I completely don't agree with what you're saying now. That could be very costly. I get that, but I'm willing to roll on that for now.
Okay,
I'm willing to roll on it.
I listened to the Front Three, which is a great podcast, the other night, and I was actually in the pub with them before they started recording. And Christian Hennage, who's a writer for ITV, ESPN, Yahoo, says that it's quite hard to understand how the signings Mark Hughes has made where he's gone wrong.
I agree.
Like with these signings, he says your Bojans, your Hoslu, your Shaqiri, your Afellay, a couple of others as well, your Berrahinos possibly, even though he hasn't had very long. He says these are signings you expect Stoke to take them to the next level. And he says they've gone backwards. That stuck out for me because Christian, I respect his opinion a lot, and he's of the opinion, that's a decline.
This is probably, you may have unearthed the reason why I want to stick with Hughes. Is you look at that list, and I don't think, I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, I might be missing some players, I'm sure I am. I don't think Hughes' transfer policy has been that bad. Ibula's a shocker. Name some other shockers.
Well, what about all the guys he signed who are now out on loan?
But they were good players.
Yeah.
Definitely good players, and I don't know why that went wrong. You look at that list of players you just went through have proven at some point or another to be good players, and it's the biggest mystery is why these people aren't gelling. I mean, Pulis was always known for being obsessively keen to find out the personality of a player
before to be a TP player.
Yeah, maybe that's where Hughes is lacking. He sees a bit of, it's like Championship manager flair to anything. He'll have some of that. Whereas it might be ability to integrate into the dressing room, ability to kind of get with his teammates, work hard. A load of zeros there. Maybe that is Hughes' fault and Cartwright's and all the rest of it. I don't know.
Christian also said on the podcast, he said with players like Arnautovic, Shaqiri, he doesn't see Mark Hughes as the warmest manager. He says he can't imagine him with all these players he wants to nurture, etc., and make them into better players. He says he can't imagine him putting an arm around him and saying, right, you've done this.
Yeah, I think that as well. But the amount of interviews I've seen, I feel like I'm really backing Hughes. I'm not completely pro Hughes.
That's okay.
A lot of shit's happened.
But
the amount of times I've read a quote from a new signing saying, I came here because of the manager. As soon as I spoke to the manager, I knew that was it. I've heard that time and time again. So he must have something about him.
Bojan was one of them players.
He was, yeah.
It's fucked him off.
Yeah, maybe it was Hughes' playing career that drew people in.
That was
Barcelona,
that was one more thing I was going to mention about, you say you give Hughes the summer, and I say don't get rid.
Yeah.
Is I fear that Bojan, Joselu, Mbula are all goners if Hughes stays.
And then we're going to lose this talent.
Another manager comes in as a sort of revival around the club, gives it this new zest of life. You also keep those players and probably get the best out of them again. I mean, Bojan, just on another note, sorry to keep cutting you off.
Sure, right.
Bojan was hailed as absolutely fantastic this weekend.
So
did you see it?
It breaks my heart.
He said he absolutely ran the show. He got an assist, I think. They won 3-2. They've now avoided relegation, and he was lauded as absolutely magical. And I think that might be because he's had a few runs in the team. He scored against Bayern. Yeah, so he's showing he can do something there.
The Bojan thing, we need a podcast on this alone. I'm frustrated by the Bojan thing. I think that he didn't hit the heights for the first season, but he was never really given a chance, was he?
No, not properly.
I still think the Wolves...
And then he got the injury.
The Wolves thing wasn't a disgraceful substitution. It really was. That was just a massive... I feel like that was a middle finger up to those that were calling for the flair players.
That was just a fuck you to Mbula and Bojan.
Yeah, it was. I think that was poor.
And that's why Mbula hasn't got on the side since. Apparently there was a big ruckus in
so I've heard that. Kicked off a bit in the dressing room.
Mbula kicked off.
What you've just said there about a new manager coming in and reinvigorating Hostel and Bojan and Bula, that's
even your Walshide.
He's not coming back.
No, he is.
I'm not. Well, I think he literally might be because we haven't got much of a choice. But he's not having him back. But when you said that reinvigorating Bojan and maybe Hosselu and maybe Arnie and Imbula, that is the biggest tempting point to change, because that brief window where them lot clicked last year. This is before Imbula, I think, but that window when all this Stoke loan stuff was fantastic.
If you keep Mark Hughes and nothing changes, no vibe changes. If you get what I mean, no vibe changes. There's the same sort of mood around the camp. There will have to be not an overhaul, but it'll probably make 4 to 5 signings max. Peter Coates has already said he's not going to give him a stupid amount of money. Mark Hughes has come out and said he's not going to be paying 30 million for a player anytime soon. So you make a few changes, you get rid of a bit of the deadwood, maybe your Charlie Adams, you put Phil Bardsley's, your Eric Peters maybe, and you get a few more players in. I don't know if that's enough to revigorate.
I think you made a good point for it. Again, I'm not completely pro Hughes statement and all that. I'm just slightly, if there's a scale of Hughes out one side, Hughes in the other, I'm probably slightly left of centre for Hughes in. But I don't know. The prospect of reinvigorating all these players is quite tempting.
And I sound like I'm doing a bit of a witch hunt here as well. You're quite defending him,
ish, and without being completely pro.
No, I feel like I'm sort of vindicating him here.
Because I don't think you. To be fair, you're not stupidly anti-Hughes. You only crossed that line after Swansea.
Yeah,
ish. So it's not like you've been camped out. Some people are a lot more passionate about Hughes going than you are.
There was a lot of straw that broke the camel's back for me.
I mean, I'm going to struggle to really defend him at this point. I know that for a fact. I just think he potentially deserves a little bit.
You'll struggle after next week if he loses.
I think we will.
This weekend.
Can you see us winning?
I can't see us winning, to be fair.
Got a generally bad record at Southampton, 1 win, I think.
And the final, we'll leave Hughes after this because I think we've discussed him enough, and I'm sure that a lot of people are either raging, agreeing with one of us or the other, and whatever. But he's also started taking a few digs at the fans. Did you see the comment about the game at the weekend? He goes, the fans are great when we're in the ascendancy.
Oh, yeah.
That was a burn.
That's a bad start.
It's a little burn. I only saw that because I saw so many people quote retweeting it, giving him shit.
With danger of making myself get stick for this. Was he right against Arsenal there?
Well, yeah, in a way.
It kind of was, wasn't it? It's difficult for a manager because you always have to keep the fans on side. You have to bite your tongue.
That's what I mean.
I understand him for thinking it. Whether you're going to say it, probably not worth it.
I wouldn't say it.
It's not worth it.
Even if I wouldn't take a pop at their own fans. That at the minute you do anything you can to keep on side.
We all think it anyway. The atmosphere that the Bet365 it's been poor this year, and that's been reflective on the performances. But don't say it. Rule just 1 of management: don't have a dig at the fans, especially when you're like that anyway.
Don't talk about Fight Club.
Yeah, not a wise move at all.
Today it's an anniversary. Do you know what anniversary it is? Have you seen the pages?
Wilco?
It is that Wilco anniversary. I wasn't going to mention that, but yeah, it was.
Is it something else?
It was a year since Wilco's testimonial. Put a picture up. Ran on the pitch, didn't we?
Yeah, I missed that. I'm heartbroken. Missed it. Is that not the anniversary you're on about there?
No. 25 years ago today, 1992. Do you know the ring a bell?
Promotion or the Autoglass?
Autoglass.
Steam versus Stockport.
Yeah, that's the one. Lou Macari's side.
I was 2,
so before anyone slates me for not knowing enough about this final. Yeah, I'd probably just learn not to shit myself.
Yeah, you're doing progressive.
I'm doing well.
Very progressive.
I'm doing well.
I think I was 5, and I remember I didn't go to the game unfortunately. But I do remember sitting in the lounge.
Because you're older than me.
5, I think. Yeah, 5 would have been 92.
Was it on TV?
Probably not. No. I don't think there's enough channels to bother with the windshield or
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Glass it was there. Yeah.
5 wasn't even about that.
5 wasn't even about, yeah. But I do remember sitting in the lounge waiting for my elder brother and dad to come home. I really distinctly remember my brother coming back now with the rattle.
Yeah.
Which I think they'd kind of dug one out for the final. It's smothered in red and white face paint and like a sun hat. All that sort of baggy sort of stuff you'd be wearing that sort of time. Yeah, I missed that one.
I think my dad went, but like I say, I was 2. I've got absolutely no.
But there's that great picture of Steen
on the volley
shooting. Yeah, it's a
great
wicked picture. That
great picture.
Fantastic picture. Well, I did make the one in 2001.
Yes.
So I got to go to Old Wembley, so that's good. Cavan and Fawn.
Yeah.
It's Bristol City. People slag off that tournament, but I am forever grateful because it got me a
trophy.
Trip. It got me a trip to the Old Wembley before it went. So that'll stick with me, that memory.
Take
Thank you,
we'll
Waterglass.
take any trophy, any day out, any piss up.
Yeah. Yeah.
Bring the autoglass back.
Bring it. Well, we could have done it this year. We put a B team out, couldn't we?
Yeah, maybe. But yeah, definitely a day in Stoke City's history worth remembering, even though I can't remember too much about it.
I remember there was a bit of a rivalry with Stockport at the time as well, because I think they beat us in the playoffs a few... Correct me if I'm wrong, again I was only 5, but I think they beat us in the playoffs a few months later. And I think they're in something like the Conference North now, or even one below it, but it's gone majorly... If you want to know about Stockport County, it's gone tits up.
Yeah.
If anyone out there is thinking, where's Stockport County now?
Gone wrong.
They're well non-league now. It's gone tits up.
Stockport. It's close to Stoke, isn't it?
Yeah, it's not far, because we really bounced with them for a few seasons in League One and Championship and stuff, and there wasn't a bit of bad blood between the two.
Yeah.
Stockport news. There you go.
Stockport news.
Yeah.
I wonder if they've got a podcast, Stockport.
I doubt it. But maybe they are.
Nah, they won't have. Also this week, another brilliant SCFC cock-up. The European plans, pre-season.
Oh, is this
plans.
the game in Germany?
Leipzig.
Leipzig. Okay.
I believe that's how you say it. So I spotted on Twitter that Leipzig had tweeted some fixtures. They were in London for the Emirates Cup, and then they were playing Stoke City on the 5th of August. Tweeted this out, breaking news.
You're straight on it, weren't you?
Yeah, straight on that shit, like a hobo on chips.
Hobos like chips? Probably.
I think it's a hobo on hard drugs or something like that. Maybe that's better.
I like chips.
Chips,
Bit
okay.
different.
Hobo on chips. And yeah, so Leipzig tweeted that we were playing them on the 5th. I went mad, started tweeting, and started looking at flights.
Yeah.
And then I think it was like half an hour later, club put out an announcement. It's not finalised, lads. Don't book your flights. It wasn't in them words, but that's what it meant.
So they implied that, didn't they?
Just weird. Like, how is it? It's not finalised yet, was what it said. We're in the end of the season. Other clubs, like my example on Twitter was Audi Cup. I know they're much bigger clubs, but Liverpool, Atletico Madrid and Bayern got the Audi Cup. They announced it via this big live stream. All the managers were on it in holograms around the desk. How much time and planning has gone into that? How much time and planning has gone into the Audi Cup?
Yeah.
We're in 16th of May. 5 days until the last game of the season. We still don't know what we're doing for pre-season.
Did they... I keep forgetting how to pronounce the name.
Leipzig.
Did they retract there?
No, they left the tweet out.
Did they?
But Leipzig apparently haven't confirmed yet.
Haven't they?
Or we haven't confirmed. It hasn't been finalised, put it that way.
It's going to happen here, probably. If they tweet it out there, it's bound to happen.
Probably will, but come on. People are waiting book
You're
flights
raging.
and stuff.
You work in social media, don't you? So I imagine this sort of stuff irks you a
Always
little
irks
bit.
me.
I'm not that arsed.
Always
You'll
irks
figure
me.
yourself out.
Always. Stuff like this always pisses me off.
Oh, yeah, I'm not that arsed. Be alright. They'll get there eventually. Give them time, Mel.
When they do get there,
tweet in their own time.
These fucking flights to Leipzig, wherever the hell that is, apparently it's like a bombs hit it. Someone was telling me Leipzig. It's not
the nicest place, is it?
Someone told me that, but the flights are going up by the minute. Probably it's summer. Come on.
Although that does potentially
something.
say. Am I right in thinking the Dortmund one's probably not going to happen then?
Unless it's a couple of games
in Germany. That's a bit of a shame.
Because
slight anticlimax, really.
Because it is a little when we're expecting a sort of tour. They can't arrange a tour. They can't arrange one game. Don't mind a tour in 3 different countries.
Oh, it's raging. Absolutely raging.
Because our last fixture in England is the 29th against Bolton. Then I went back through the tweets and I picked this up. On the 30th against Crewe, it says a Stoke XI. So that's one of them. That's not a proper team.
It's annoying.
It's one of them.
I'm planning on going that one.
Yeah, it's one of them. It's not the boys.
If we're lucky, we might see Charlie Adam, maybe.
Yeah, it's
like, a sort of level,
like your Ingoys and your Tom Edwardses and all those fellas.
Future.
Yeah, the future. It'll be Stoke XI. It'll be like Jack Devlin. It'll be Harry Suter. It'll be Ryan Sweeney. It'll be all
I'm going to say now. I'm going to go that one.
Yeah,
I'll report on that one. Yeah.
And then. So if the last Stoke, not Stoke XI, last Stoke game's on the 29th, that one that was apparently planned was the 5th.
Right.
Kick-off for the season's the 12th.
Yeah.
I can't see him just having the one... Can you see one game between the 29th and the 12th?
But then at the same time, I can't see him squeezing in 2. Certainly not in different countries.
No.
A bit tight, isn't it, that? Maybe they've got a mini tour of Germany. They've got to retract this tour, this European tour they've kind
Maybe it's 1 or 2 in Germany. Must be.
Yeah.
I can't imagine one from between 29th and the 12th, one game on the 5th. Maybe the 3rd, the 2nd, something along those lines. The 5th is a Saturday, so have one on the Thursday or something.
Yeah.
That's what I think.
I think they can't squeeze it in. Not enough time. The season starts on the 12th this year, isn't it?
Yeah, early for the World Cup.
Yeah, it's coming out quick, isn't it? You're going?
That's a secret, Craig. No, it's not really.
Oh, it's not
yeah,
going.
I'm going to be there every single day of the World Cup over in Russia. Probably get killed, but
this is via your.
I'm going to do some. I'm going to do like a bear pit daily thing. As
know what? Whilst we're on this podcast, and it's been recorded. I'm going to put it out there. Can you get me in there via your company? I'll put you right on the spot here.
I've not got to get myself in yet, Craig.
But if you do,
it's a year away. I don't know.
Can you work that there? You've got a year to work on it.
Yeah, I've got a year to work on it.
Thanks, mate.
I'll work on it.
That's what I'll put you in the spot then.
Yeah, just a little. So yeah, pre-season we don't know yet. Still,
a concluding point. We're not sure.
It's now the 16th of
in your age,
16th of May. Breaking news this morning. Got a sleeve sponsor, man.
It's a bit odd, isn't it? I'm going to Google this quick. I'm going to have a look at it. It's like what are they called? 11 something or other.
Top 11.
Top 11.
Irony,
What is that?
It's a fantasy football game.
So for those that don't know, this is the first season where is it English football or the Premier League?
Premier League. You're allowed sleeve
sponsors, similar to maybe
Brazil.
Brazil, they've got about covered. You can barely see the club badge amongst all the sponsors. So it's what? Sorry, 11.
Top 11.
Top 11. What is that?
It's a football manager game thing.
Okay. Here we go.
Obviously, there's some irony in announcing this sponsor. I tweeted out that we've got the aim for next season on our arms, just top 11.
Top 11.
Some people are saying we'll be lucky to get top 11 this season.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
So there's a lot of irony around this announcement. What do you make of it? What do you make of it?
It's a bit weird, but I imagine.
Is it weird just because we're used to the Premier League badge there?
Yeah, I mean, is it only on one sleeve?
Yeah.
And the Prem on the other one? It's a bit odd, but I imagine back in the day, this is before my time, but when main shirt sponsors were first introduced, there was kind of a lot of outcry that it's not traditional and all the rest of it. But now, take away the sponsor and kits always look a tad bland. Maybe it's something that our eyes are just going to get used to.
Yeah, I don't think we go forward. I don't think it's doing too much. I don't think it's
a bit. I don't know. Whatever. I mean, how much is that? Do we know how much it's worth? This sponsor?
Not a clue. I don't think they've announced that. It's got to be a couple.
The thing is,
$100,000.
The whole Prem, you're going to get on board with this.
Man City were the first to announce theirs tyre company. I think.
Oh, have they? So it's just one of them things you have to get on board with this in modern day football. It's either stick to your guns and tradition, or you just get left behind financially, and you have to compete. It's all about money, unfortunately, football. So if we have to kind of desecrate the kit for some random football game, that's what we have to do.
It won't be long until they're all over that. Premier League 2026,
yeah,
2027.
It'll have it on the arse of the shirt,
everywhere,
on the bloody
shorts,
yeah,
socks,
and then eventually they just get rid of
tattoos
the badge
on the
altogether,
forehead,
and then we'll just be Bet365 FC.
Yeah,
it's the future, isn't it?
We will. Also, I was thinking they've started. I don't know if you've seen, Craig, because I only put it out about an hour ago or so. They started ripping up the seats.
I did see that. That's good.
Yeah, so none of that.
Yeah, because half the stadium looks like a discoloured shirt at the moment, doesn't it? There's been washed several times, like our kits actually. You got that nice bright red bit across the central stand, but they're going to match it all up. Which is
hang on. I've just gone down on the tweets. Someone's asked, "Are you doing the queue railing?"
All right.
And they've replied, "Hi Dan, the queue railing seats will be replaced in the summer of 2018."
Right.
So we're still going to have.
So they're forever going to be out of sync, aren't they?
Yeah.
We're going to look like this.
Well, I've gone too soon then.
Yeah. This fading shirt. That's a bit annoying. Oh, bloody hell.
What, they're going to do them all? Just do them all.
That's a shame. The thing is, you're forever out of sync now, aren't you, if you don't kind of get them in one batch?
I was going to say, because then one's going to be a year out of colour than the rest.
Yeah.
Wear and tear of someone's arse.
Bloody hell, what a bad season it's been, eh?
Oh,
now
God.
The seats are the wrong colours.
Oh, God. Can't do anything. Can't do anything. Right, let's go to our questions.
I always like the fans' questions.
You always like
it's my
favourite
bit.
Okay.
I guarantee there's a question there. Who do you think we should sign?
Yeah, well, I've not favourited any of them on purpose.
There's always one. We don't know.
They ask us every week.
Midfield problem.
Interesting question from Charlie Bester. He says, Coates has said Hughes is staying. Will that get everyone demanding he leaves, or will that get the fans back on side?
I don't think it'll sway people's opinions one way or the other.
No, I don't.
If they're Hughes out, they're Hughes out. If they're Hughes in, they're Hughes in. Coates' decision or mindset won't make a difference, I don't think.
I think it might sway a few people who the people who just blindly say coach knows best.
Mm-hmm.
And do you know what? He's made a lot of correct decisions for this club.
Yeah.
But it could never be always right. Never could be always right.
I think what is important is going to next season.
Reality.
It looks like it will be Hughes. I think the fans need to ignore this season, get on with it, because we're going to need the fans at the start of the season. If we go into the season with this same negative mindset, it's not going to help the club.
Definitely.
So we need to go in there.
If Hughes is there next game of the season, I'll still be going mental. Yeah. As in a good mental, getting behind the side.
Yeah.
If it goes 7-6 games and we haven't won again,
then
I'll lose my
going
shit.
the opposite. Yeah.
Mark Mansett says, why do you suppose we didn't blood some youngsters with the potential these last 10 games? Not as if we'd be any worse off points wise.
You can say that. Why weren't we bloody getting Bojan and Hosloon and Bula? You know, I think we're not playing some main players, let alone the youngsters. Really, I think
there's a case for Tom Edwards when we've struggled so much with right back. And he made a few squads in the season. There was a few times he was on the bench. Yeah. So I think there's definitely a case there. But when things are so vital for Mark Hughes in these games, he can't afford to play.
No, I can't. I completely understand why.
It's dependent on his job.
Yeah.
This could decide his job. Mm-hmm. I wouldn't risk a youngster.
And fair enough. If this is what you're getting paid for, it's your job now.
Alfie Dickin, what would you do if Hughes is in with the transfer window coming up? Would you attempt to tempt Bojan and Joslu back into the team or not?
100%.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, we're not Hughes and that won't happen. But yeah, if I was Hughes, miraculously, I'd definitely do that.
George Crook says, is Sigurdsson a level above us?
Yeah, I think he's probably going to be looking at the sort of Everton
Swansea
level.
Stayed up though, so
I still think, if he were to move, he certainly wouldn't be for Stoke. I mean, they're right up our arse now.
I think we're about that level. I think Everton would be the max. Everton, Southampton, us. I don't think he can get back to a Tottenham just yet.
I see him looking at the kind of Premier League table, as you wouldn't see Stoke in whatever position we are in now, and just think, I think, why would I? I think there's better out there for me, unfortunately. It's a shame that, because another thing about finishing so low is people are small-minded sometimes, and they will literally look at where you finish and think, I don't want to go to that club, I want a top half team. It can be the difference between getting a new signing or not.
James Cowie, player of the season, or players if we differentiate.
I said it last podcast, but not necessarily because he's been, I think Lee Grant, because you shouldn't get a third choice Championship keeper stepping up that successfully to the Premiership, and he did. And without him being on fire, certainly for the early part of his loan spell, I think we could have been in a relegation battle, and worse, maybe we've gone down. So I think Lee Grant has saved our bacon this year, definitely.
Funny question from Andrew Newman on Facebook. Was anyone idiotic to buy one of these monstrosities? And he's got a picture of the half and half scarves.
Bane of the fucking footballing world, they are.
Who makes a Stoke and Arsenal half and half scarf?
Well, tourists are buying them, aren't they?
To be a good idea.
Tourists are buying them, but I fucking hate them things. How does it work into the regulations of we can sell this tat? Is there a certain perimeter around the grounds and you have to be beyond it?
You have to have some sort of licence, I believe.
So Stoke approved that?
Not the scarf, but the seller.
Right, okay.
I believe. You have to set up a stall on match day, I believe you have to have some sort of... Well, you have to get some sort of permit.
You know, if there's somebody listening, they did buy a half and half scarf.
Stop listening.
Well, yeah, stop listening. If you continue to listen, comment in and try and justify your purchase, because it's disgraceful.
Jules... This name has through me. Jules... Jaul Ponson.
Joel Ponson.
That's how it's spelled on Facebook. It's got to be Paul Johnson. But it's Joel Ponson.
Yeah, let's call him Joel anyway. What's Joel got to say?
He says, what's your favourite cheese?
I'm not really much of a cheese connoisseur to know that, so I'm going to be boring, just say cheddar.
Mine's Austrian smoked.
Fucking hell. I'm a bit of a connoisseur here.
Have Stoke peaked in the Premier League? John Ainsworth, can we do any better?
I kind of answered this at the start. I think a club of our wealth and size, I think 7th via a verti commas freak season is achievable / a cup. Until we win a cup or finish 7th, we've not peaked in the Premier League as of yet.
Which season has been worse from Stephen Hubbard, this one or the last one under Tony Pulis? I'm going to say this one.
I feel like the Pulis one was, because I genuinely feared for relegation after we lost. I think it was Villa at home. This one I've never really thought it's been in the back of my mind, but Pulis one felt a little bit more desperate.
I feel like the joy was sucked all out of this one, even though it was in the pure season. But at least he did a little bit in the cups. At least we didn't go out in the first round.
We had a good first half of the season on the pure. So I think you're 8th the New Year, and then just went completely tits up in the second half.
Richard Cherrington's asked a question, but we've sort of said this. He said Bardsley or Johnson, the wrong player, was offered an extension in my eyes, and I wholeheartedly agree with you, Richard Cherrington.
I kind of agree without dragging Johnson down too much. He's not been consistently bad, but I think Bardsley's been more consistent in general.
Lastly, Ian Seedon, who made me chuckle, which is why I'm reading this one out. Where had all the food gone at half time? Only pies left that were hot. The only pies left were ones that were hotter than a fucking nuclear reactor.
Christ, it's negative at the club, innit? There's no food left. They can't announce a friendly. The seats are the wrong colour. Fucking hell. Bad season we've had, eh?
Made me laugh, Ian.
Good point, though. I tell you what annoys me, actually. Let's go. Mini pate.
Always out of steak.
Always out of steak. A mini pate for Stoke at the moment, 2 here. Please get a queuing system sorted for the food at half time. It's not worth getting a beer or a pie because it's just nuts down there.
Introduce wireless payment.
And please introduce contactless payment, yeah. Mini pay and rant for me there. It drives me to the wall.
Don't worry, I have actually expressed
this for the big wigs, haven't you?
On the council.
Yeah.
So lastly, let's come on to the last game of the season, Southampton.
I think we're going to lose.
I've booked I haven't booked it, the missus did, but I'm not even going. I've taken a leaf out of the players' books and gone on holiday.
Gone to the beach. Yeah.
I'm going. I'm off to Tenerife, and I will be doing a watch along.
Oh, will you?
Yeah. So
you and your missus, or just you? Or you with
me and the lads?
Oh, the lads there. Is your lads there and the missus?
There's 3 couples.
Okay, that's
so
fine.
The lads, we're going to be watching the game. Probably do a watch along. So tune into the Facebook this Sunday.
Sunday at 3, yeah.
3 p.m.
Yeah.
Or 4 p.m.
It's 3. I thought it's 4. It's 3. So it's the Premier League app.
3 p.m, probably a little bit before. I'm going to be living it up in a bar in Tenerife. Probably shorts on. Probably be about 29 degrees.
Lovely stuff.
But, you guys tune in to sort of
watch you enjoy your
scorn.
Holiday.
Yeah. We'll probably be crying at the end of it after.
I think we'll lose. The season's done and dusted. The morale come any lower. Southampton, how are they doing?
Do
their...
you know what? They're having a slight wobble. A lot of people not happy for a while. I wouldn't say similar situation to us, but they're not exactly pleased with what's going on there at the minute.
They're still 9th.
They're still 9th.
They always have this...
I think they've had raised expectations.
Yeah, they always seem to have this annual resurgence. I'll tell you what, just quickly as well, looking through the league table here. Southampton in 9th, 45. West Brom 8th, 45. Everton 7th, 61. Should we take into consideration slightly that the top 7 are very, very strong this year, and no one of our size has particularly performed well? Is that fair? Look at the gap from 7th to 8th is enormous. It is massive. I've never seen such a gap.
It is a big gap.
No club. I mean, West Brom are 4 points above us in 8th. Do you know what I mean? Maybe we should consider that. Or maybe I'm looking for silver lining. Don't know.
Yeah, I think you're looking for a get out crane. So Southampton Club, who else got them in 9th, taking our spot, it seems. Mm-hmm. I don't know what to expect from this. Bojan won us the game last season. Little flick. And it was the first time we won there in a very long time, I believe.
Yeah, bad record there, generally.
I don't think we're going to do that again.
I agree. I think the season flopped and died against Arsenal.
Yeah, I think the club's dying. Just to be a bit over dramatic. So yeah, I don't even know how to preview this game because it's just going to be both teams have got nothing to play for whatsoever. Probably a Premier League place or two.
Yeah.
And I suppose it depends on the players and what mood they're in on the day because some of them will just want to get it done and get it over with. Some of them. Hughes might get some of them riled up and say, listen, this could be the difference in me being here next year or not. If you want me to be here, you better fucking play.
And those that don't care. Take
care.
the peg down.
Yeah.
Well, I'm crying out for it. Please, 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 he won't, but please play Shaqiri in the hole and Ramadan on the wing.
He won't.
I'm praying for that.
Every single Stoke fan wants that, but we're not seeing it.
It's just it's plainly obvious to me. That's why
Mama Juve can't start top again.
No, I said this last week. Juve for me, he's not a right back. He's not a striker. I don't know what he is in Stoke. And with all due respect, I think it's time for Juve to go on to pastures new.
Yeah,
I love Juve, but it's
part
not
of the clear out.
Yeah, definitely. We've got several people ahead of him in every position he can play, which is half the team at the moment. Bar keeper.
Okay. Well, we're not very optimistic for once. You're usually we're going to win. We're going to win. That's you every other pod.
It's weird.
What's changed?
Well, look at the state of the Arsenal game. I just don't think we will, Al. I think this is a loss written all over it.
Okay. Well, at least I'll be away in sunny Tenerife to console myself. That has been the Bear Pit Pod. We will end it there. Make sure you give us a like wherever you're listening. That we're on SoundCloud, Acast, iTunes, YouTube. Subscribe if you are new, and we will see you next week after the season's finished. Whee!